Well, good morning, Tronium friends, and welcome to this week's edition of Patio Ponderings. It is a snowy, wintry day out there, so I'm all dressed cozy in my flannel, so it's all good. Well, welcome. My patio today is in the sanctuary back in this little corner where we have all our hymnals and extra Bibles and some really fun little vintage books for kids. And it's just a reminder of how accessible the stories of Jesus are to us in this day. But you know, it hasn't always been that way. So this has to do with what I've been pondering this week. So let's begin with a little quick review of the stories that we've been hearing regarding Elizabeth and Mary. Now, if you'll remember, Elizabeth finds out she's pregnant after years of being barren and now is past childbearing age. She's going to have a son, and that son is going to grow up to be John the Baptist, who will announce and prepare the way for Jesus. Then Mary gets a visit from the angel Gabriel and hears that she too is going to be a son, or that she's going to have a son. And this son is, of course, Jesus, the Son of God. She hears Elizabeth is pregnant, and so she goes to see Elizabeth. And they have this short conversation in which is actually quite prophetic. Elizabeth recognizes what God is up to here in the lives of her and Mary. And then Mary makes this really prophetic proclamation of God's work in her, who she is in that work, who Jesus is going to be. This is the story that we heard this past Sunday. We call it the Magnificat, which means Mary's song. And we hear words like, He has looked with favor on the low status of his servant. From now on, everyone will consider me highly favored because the Mighty One has done great things to me. And then she goes on to say that he has scattered those with arrogant thoughts and proud inclinations. He has pulled the powerful down from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty-handed. So we talked on Sunday about how radical these words are and how subversive they are and how dangerous it would have been for Mary to have spoken those words. And so this is what really got me thinking. So if Mary and Elizabeth are the only two present when Mary speaks these amazing words, how did they get captured word for word? We don't just hear about how Mary said these things and these were the vague ideas of what she was speaking. We hear these exact words that Mary spoke. This was a time when literacy was very uncommon. So, who captured Mary's words? So a couple things that I've been thinking about in this is a couple scenarios. So both Elizabeth and her husband Zechariah are from priestly lineages. Elizabeth especially says that she comes from the line of Aaron. Aaron is the brother of Moses, and it's Aaron's tribe, Aaron's clan, that is responsible for all the priestly duties, and this has been going on for thousands of years. If anyone is going to be literate, if anyone is going to know how to read and write, it's likely to be a priest or a scribe or someone associated with worship life of the Jewish people. So, was Zechariah there? Did he capture Mary's words? It doesn't say in the scripture that Zechariah was there. We only know that Elizabeth and Mary are there and that they're having this conversation just between the two of them. Is it possible that Elizabeth, also being from the priestly line, is herself literate? That's a little mind-blowing because she's a woman. That would not be expected. But wouldn't that be just like God to work through the unexpected people? That's what this whole story is about. He's bringing a child to a barren woman. He's bringing a child to an unwed teenage virgin. Is it possible that God is also placing in this setting the rarity that would be a literate woman at this time? Oh, this one is a fun one for this theological geek to think about. I hope you think about it too, and think about some of the things that we take for granted, like having all these words in abundance for us to learn the stories of Jesus. Yeah. So what do you think? Does this blow your mind a little bit? I hope it does. I hope it gets you thinking about how these stories have been passed down to us generation to generation. Yeah. So Christmas is upon us. In just a few days, we will be celebrating the birth of Christ, and I hope I will see you all in worship then. But of course, I hope to see you all on Sunday. Stay safe on the roads out there today. Bye.